I must say, I'm pleased that Kyrie held a press conference. I thought they would just leave everything to the statement. Maybe this press conference happened because Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, sent out a statement earlier today that that statement was not sufficient enough for him and that he was going to meet with Kyrie next week. So it was a 6-minute media availability. We have 3 sound bites for you. First one was the first question that started the whole media scrum. I believe it was done at a shoot-around. You can hear some basketballs in the background. Here it is.
Adam Silver wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or were you not apologizing?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
What are the specific things in the documentary that you don't believe are true and that you don't believe represent your morals?
I think some of the criticism of the Jewish faith in the community, for sure. Some points made in there that were unfortunate.
Unfortunate is another way to describe untrue. Well, that was the first Q&A that, to be honest with you, was a little bit lacking right there. Certainly when he says he doesn't need to apologize because he didn't make the documentary. He linked it on his platform. Let's check out the second one. This, I believe, was the last question of the press conference, where he was asked point blank if he's anti-Semitic.
Do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin-around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
Man, I just hope he's not anti-Semitic. I guess I could still live my life if he is, but he's got a platform, man, and that's the whole thing. Is the platform put this documentary in so many different inboxes and so many different places where folks might not have heard about it. But because I always want to be consistent, and I've been saying, look, I would love to have him as an advocate. He met with the ADL, as at least it made it seem like it in his press release, in that press release that was sent out jointly between the ADL and Kyrie and the Nets. And you know, the back and forth where he was asked point blank if he met with the ADL. I mean, that's a very specific question to ask, and the answer that came back was that they reached out and we handled it. That was the back and forth. So did he meet directly with the ADL or he did not?
They reached out and we handled it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he just
say yeah, we met? Yeah. Unless they didn't meet. But again, I want to be consistent here because I'm like, what's he thinking? Like, what is in his mind where he would either watch this documentary and say, people should see it, or he was told about it and say, you should do it. He's since deleted it. Here's a 3-minute portion of his press conference. I'm going to play it all. Go for it.
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create. And it was something I shared. And I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility then that's where I sit. So, you know, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness. I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my expert opinion. You guys ask me about other things, I give you my opinion, and it's met with whatever you believe the perception or the deception is. You guys investigate my life every day, and you justify it by serving your own purpose, which I honor. I would like the same respect in return, figuring out just like anyone else. So please keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things, because just because I post a documentary doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitic, and doesn't mean that I'm automatically standing with everyone that is believing in that. So it's unfortunate timing that we're in, but I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be, looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, but I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary, you look it up, right? One of the biggest mistakes I had in being a kid was not knowing European or Western language, until I started looking it up and understanding the definitions and why they say, if you want to trick a black person, put it in a book. I was wondering my whole life why they said that. Now I'm 30 years old and I know reading is a superpower, because it helps me understand where I'm going and where I come from, like a tree with roots.
That's Kyrie Irving's 3-minute long statement. I just want to say this. I welcome him as a partner in battling hate and people who look at you and have tropes said about you that you know are not to be true and are very hurtful to hear, and it's very hurtful to have it spread. Let's do this together. What if I sent out a link to something with a bunch of tropes that he clearly knows are not true? He's fighting against, as he says, every day. I don't understand why it's difficult to apologize for that. And the whole thing about may not be true, these tropes and that, they're not true. I don't understand it. That part I just can't wrap my arms around. I mean, you just heard about how he takes so many subject matters when it involves him and his ancestry. Well, so do I. Maybe there's some common ground here. I'd love for there to be. And while we're on the subject matter, then let's turn to Amazon. Why the hell was that link available? Why is that available?
Apparently
for him to be linked
available.
out. Let's talk about that too.
I think that's the thing. A lot of people. That's the question. A lot of people are asking.
But he also can't say that he didn't make the documentary. So, hands off, everybody. It's his platform that put this out there and has now put it in the inbox of the commissioner and every single one of his teammates and everyone in the country.